My name is Paige. I'm 36 years old, and I live in Bella Vista, Arkansas. Like thousands of others, I never thought I'd have to say this, but do not kill me with a car. About 1 month ago, on August 14th, I was on a training ride in Bentonville, Arkansas. As I was coming down the road, I made a right-hand turn onto a gravel road, and there was a white van that was driving on the wrong side of the road. To avoid hitting the car head-on, I crashed onto the right side and slid, and the driver proceeded to drive over the back end of my bike while I was still under it. Since that time, I've been managing a lot of physical injuries, as well as a concussion and a neck injury, which have limited my ability to ride outside or race bikes, which is my full-time job. What's worse is that there's been a lot of emotional trauma from this accident. I am what's called a VRU, which is a vulnerable road user. That includes cyclists, runners, and pedestrians. And there are thousands of deaths to VRUs by careless, reckless cars. And what's worse is that there is a lack of transparency and media coverage for these, but a lack of accountability for the drivers. For example, there have been 354 deaths in Arkansas in the last 3 years of reporting. That means there's been one death per 3 days. And I did not die, thankfully, but there have been many others who have. And because I live on, I feel obligated to advocate for change. So I really, really want to ask for your help. And I encourage you to go to thewhiteline.org, click on data, and to educate yourself on these VRU fatalities. What's interesting is that although I live in a wonderful state to ride a bike, there is virtually very little accountability for these drivers. Arkansas actually ranks 50th in accountability, which means there are minimal consequences to these drivers at fault. And what's worse is that if there is a driver who's in the wrong and hits a cyclist or pedestrian and kills that person, they may serve a max sentence of 1 year. And what's even worse from that is there is a non-mandatory incarceration in Arkansas for some of these, which means this person may never even be held accountable for the actions. So the first step is educating people on how common these things are and how awful they are. I live on, but it's impacting my life significantly, and I know several others who have been in a similar situation. What gives me hope is that I know other people want to make change, and there's the White Line have done a tremendous amount of work. I'd encourage you to read about the Magnus White Cyclist Safety Act, which helps encourage the mandatory use of anti-braking systems, which can prevent a lot of these.